This is a breakdown of the Rodri to Real Madrid transfer saga. Why it could be brilliant, why it could blow up in Real Madrid's face, how he'd actually fit into that midfield, and what players, fans, and legends are saying about it right now. And yes, I'm going to give you my actual opinion on this one, so stick around for that. Quick flag before we start. None of this is a done deal. As of right now, this is a developing transfer story. Reported fees range wildly depending on who you ask, from around £42 million all the way up to a wild $130 million figure from one outlet that even the journalist reporting it called hard to believe. So take the specific numbers with a grain of salt and treat everything here as in progress, not confirmed.
Real Madrid, for example, in this sense, I remember the game they go against Liverpool, and they were 2-0 down. And I saw their faces, I was like, these guys are not worried. And I was saying to the lads, guys, you've seen their faces, like they're not kind of, okay, we will overcome this situation, don't worry.
Rodri's contract with Manchester City runs out in June 2027, and he's made it pretty clear he's not signing an extension. In March of this year, he told Spanish media he'd like to play in Spain again, in Madrid specifically. Then in July, he won the World Cup and the Golden Ball with Spain. Days later, at Spain's victory parade, he posed for a selfie with Atletico Madrid players and told one of them, "Vamos, vamos," when they asked if he was sure he wanted to take that photo. Atletico reposted it themselves. By the end of July, Real Madrid had made first contact with Manchester City. Real Madrid's new manager, Jose Mourinho, who only officially took over this year after Xabi Alonso got sacked in January, is reportedly a big backer of the move. City, on the other hand, are already looking at potential replacements, including Lille's Ayoub Wadi. So this thing is moving.
Here's the case for Real Madrid, and it's honestly pretty strong. Since Toni Kroos and Luka Modrić left, Real Madrid have not had a player who actually controls the tempo of a match the way those two did. Valverde, Tchouaméni, Camavinga, Bellingham, they're all excellent, but none of them slow the game down and speed it back up on command. That's specifically Rodri's superpower. And the tactical case for how he'd help the rest of the team is genuinely compelling. Rodri takes on the job of progressing the ball himself, which means everyone else gets freed up to do what they're best at. Valverde could make more of those trademark forward bursts. Bellingham could spend more time playing higher up the pitch instead of constantly dropping deep to help build attacks. It's not that Rodri would replace anyone, it's that he'd let everyone else specialize. On top of that, he's not some player Real Madrid are taking a leap of faith on. He's the reigning World Cup Golden Ball winner and a 2024 Ballon d'Or winner. Even Pep Guardiola, his manager for years, has called him the best midfielder in the world by far, and he's kept saying that all the way through this transfer speculation.
For us, it's very important. I think sometimes it's not about just scoring or assisting. I think he controls everything. He organizes the team. He decides when we press. He decides when we attack. And for us, it's very important. Every time we are under pressure, he gives us a chance to give him the ball. He never loses the ball, and I think he deserves this trophy because he played an amazing tournament. Yeah, it's unbelievable. I think since the first day we arrived here, we try to play our football, our style. I think we start
Now, here's the other side, and it's not small. First, the squad fit is a genuine problem. Real Madrid currently have Tchouaméni, Camavinga, Valverde, Bellingham, and Arda Güler all fighting for midfield minutes. Multiple reports have said it is simply not possible to fit Rodri into that group without moving someone out, and Tchouaméni is the name that keeps coming up, with Manchester United reportedly circling if that happens. Camavinga, meanwhile, is under contract until 2029 and reportedly wants to stay and fight for his spot, so this isn't a clean slot in. Second, age and injury history. Rodri turns 30 this year, and Real Madrid have historically avoided big money signings for players over 30. Of their 20 most expensive signings ever, 15 were 25 or younger. Only 3 players over 30 have ever moved to the Bernabeu, and none for anywhere close to what Rodri would cost. On top of the age question, he tore his ACL in September 2024, picked up a hamstring injury in October 2025, and had back surgery just this summer. That's 3 separate injury situations in under 2 years for a player Real Madrid would be paying a premium for.
There's actually a really good historical parallel here that keeps getting brought up. Back in 2003, Florentino Perez let Claude Makélélé leave Real Madrid for Chelsea and dismissed him on the way out, saying he wasn't a header of the ball and rarely passed it more than 3 meters. That decision is now widely seen as one of the worst calls of the Perez era, because Real Madrid spent years struggling for balance in midfield after that. Some people are using that story as a reason Madrid should sign Rodri now, but it also shows how much internal skepticism there's always been at that club about spending big on an unglamorous holding midfielder. And that skepticism is reportedly alive again this time around, with club figures like Juni Calafat said to be against the move internally. And finally, on the selling side, Jamie Carragher has actually urged Manchester City to keep Rodri rather than cash in, arguing that whatever fee they get now, reportedly somewhere in the £40 million range against the
If this happens, the most likely setup is Rodri paired with just one of Tchouaméni, Valverde, or Güler, not all of them stacked together. The domino effect from there is that Tchouaméni likely gets sold to make room. Camavinga stays and fights for a rotation spot, and the frontline benefit is that Valverde and Bellingham get to play further up the pitch instead of covering defensive ground. It's a clean tactical upgrade on paper. The complicated part is entirely about who gets squeezed out and how much that costs, both financially and in squad harmony.
Rodri himself has been consistent about this for over a year now. He said directly that having played for Atletico before wouldn't stop him from joining Real Madrid, and that you can't turn down the best clubs in the world. Dani Carvajal, Real Madrid's own right back, has publicly welcomed the idea, saying he's already told Rodri he hopes he'll be at the club in the future. On the flip side, Atletico Madrid fans are not thrilled. Rodri came up through their academy and had 47 senior appearances there before joining City. One fan post that went semi-viral captured the frustration pretty directly. You don't leave the club that helped shape you just to join its biggest rival. There's also a smaller, ongoing conversation about whether Atletico themselves should try to bring him back instead, which tells you this isn't just a two-club story. There's also some lingering awkwardness worth mentioning. Back in 2024, when Rodri won the Ballon d'Or over Vinicius Jr., parts of Real Madrid's own camp reacted badly to it. Some reporting has floated that as one reason Rodri might have been cool on a Madrid move in the past, alongside the Atletico loyalty question. Though I want to flag that this is speculative framing from the reporting, not something Rodri has directly confirmed himself.
Alright, here's where I actually weigh in, and I know this might be a slightly unpopular opinion depending on who you ask. I think Real Madrid should absolutely go for this, and I think the age and injury concerns everyone keeps bringing up are being overweighted relative to what he actually showed this summer. Here's my reasoning. Real Madrid's biggest, most consistent weakness since Kroos and Modrić left hasn't been talent, it's been control. They've had games where they've had more individual quality on the pitch than almost anyone in Europe and still gotten overrun in midfield because nobody was setting the rhythm. Rodri is, right now, the single best player in the world at exactly that job, and he just proved it on the biggest stage there is by winning the Golden Ball at a World Cup. That's not a small sample size or a hot streak. That's the best players in the world watching him do it against elite competition in a final with everything on the line. Yes, the injury history is real, and it's a legitimate risk. Nobody should pretend an ACL tear, a hamstring issue, and back surgery in under 2 years is nothing. But I'd point back to the Makélélé comparison the analysts keep making, because I think it actually cuts the other way from how Real Madrid has traditionally treated it. Real Madrid's mistake with Makélélé wasn't that they kept a 30-year-old defensive midfielder too long. It was that they let him go and dismissed exactly what he brought to the team, and then spent years paying for it in trophies. I think the actual risk here isn't signing an aging Rodri. I think the actual risk is Real Madrid getting spooked by his age and his medical file, passing on him and watching him go dominate somewhere else, or watching Manchester City hand the exact same problem to a rival club in the Premier League instead. If I'm Real Madrid, I'm not scared of the price tag or the birth certificate. I'm scared of building a midfield full of talented players who still can't control a game, the same problem they've had for 2 straight seasons now. Rodri fixes that specific problem better than literally anyone else available to them. That's worth the gamble. That's where I land on it. Let me know in the comments if you think I'm wrong, and specifically whether it's the age, the injuries, or the squad fit that worries you the most, because I think all 3 of those are legitimate. I just don't think any of them outweigh what he actually does on a pitch.